All right, folks, welcome aboard. It's a new week, and we have plenty to get to. Dr. Ben Carson joins us momentarily. Of course, breaking news from the world of sports, and we're going to talk about this throughout the course of the show because it transcends sports. Ray Rice, running back, Baltimore Ravens, not only released by the Ravens today, but also suspended by the National Football League indefinitely. Now, you see the video here. That's from inside the elevator, which reportedly we're seeing Ray Rice knock out his then fiancée. Now, we have seen the tail end of that video over and over. It took place in February at an Atlantic City hotel, and Ray Rice we had seen from the lobby of that hotel, Ray Rice dragging his knocked out fiancée out of the elevator. This is TMZ. It's the first time we have seen this portion of the video in the elevator itself. Now, Ray Rice was originally suspended for 2 games by the Ravens. The league policy on domestic abuse then changed, and then with the release of this video, which the NFL claims it did not see until today, like the rest of us, they said the video speaks for itself. They released him from his contract, and the league has just suspended Ray Rice indefinitely. Joining us now is Dr. Ben Carson, and I have no idea if the good doctor has been keeping up to date on this or has seen the video. Hello, doctor.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm certainly going to get to ISIS, and of course, Ben Carson, the author of One Nation, What We Can All Do to Save America's Future. I don't know if you're aware of the Ray Rice situation. Have you been following that at all?
Yeah, yes, I saw that on the news this morning.
Yeah, well, he has now since been released after being suspended for 2 games by the league. Then the league subsequently changing its domestic abuse policy, saying they blew it on that suspension. They increased it to 6 games and then for life on a second offense. Today, because TMZ released that video, the Ravens within the hour have released him from his contract, and the league has adjusted its suspension from 2 games to indefinitely. Right move?
Well, I'm hopeful that they will get some help for him. You know, obviously anyone who would do something like that needs some help. And, you know, let's not all jump on the bandwagon of demonizing this guy. He obviously has some real problems. And his wife obviously knows that because she subsequently married him. So they both need some help. And rather than just jumping on a punitive bandwagon, let's see if we can get some help for these people.
Very interesting take on that. I'll just take a stab in the dark. Are you following the fact that the Atlanta Hawks NBA owner has now called himself out on what he called a racially insensitive email that he wrote several years ago, and now he's going to sell his team? Have you heard that one at all?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has stepped in. And by the way, Ray Rice is going to lose $14.5 million. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar says that Bruce Levinson is not a racist. He's a businessman. And the tone, the gist of his emails, for those who don't know, is that he wrote to his staff, to his people who run his franchise several years ago, that he feels white people won't come to his arena because there's all black cheerleaders, there's all hip-hop music. Some of the white people might feel intimidated. So, again, racist or businessman? What do you say, doctor?
I say that we have a tendency to try everybody in the media on the basis of sound bites and video clips. And it really is pretty stupid. And it goes back to, my whole war on political correctness. A lot of things could be alleviated if we would simply say to somebody, what did you say? What was the context in which you said it, and what did you mean? It may actually be possible that they have a better idea of what they meant than we do.
Yeah, of course. In this case, he kind of removed himself, and some people think it's he wants to sell and needs a reason to sell to get while the NBA franchise prices seem to be up, if the Clippers sale is any indication. All right, back to what is really not that the domestic abuse thing isn't important, but I mean on the global scale here. Your piece, Resisting the Islamic State's Demand for Submission. Do you think Barack Obama is capable of that?
I'm sure he's capable of it. does he have the will to do it? I guess that's really the question. Because until he actually is able to utter the words, "We're at war with these terrorists," I don't know that he will ever be able to do what's necessary. If he can't even utter the words, how will he actually be able to execute the action?
Well, sure. He has certainly shown an avoidance and has almost made it policy within his administration, as you know, Doctor, to not talk about what it is. And the antithesis of that really is David Cameron, who is more than willing and recognizes the problem for what it is, correct?
Well, and that's what leadership is. And, he's waiting for this coalition to form. To me, that indicates that he perhaps does not have people guiding him in terms of the psyche of people in that region of the world. They have a tendency to want to be on the winning side. And to them, it's probably not super clear who the winning side is. Now, we could easily be the winning side because we certainly have the muscle to do that. And we have incredibly intelligent leadership in the military and in our covert operations. But we tie their hands behind their back. If we were to let them loose with a good plan that doesn't have to be publicized to everybody, by the way, they could do the job relatively quickly. And as the others were seeing them doing the job, believe me, they would jump on that bandwagon in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and see, I'm with you because I think the president has already said way too much. Not that he's been consistent in what he said, but I fear that on Wednesday he's going to spell out a plan almost down to the T, crossing the I's and dotting the T's, and in effect mailing this plan to ISIS to let them know basically what to prepare for and what's coming.
I mean, this is amateur night. When do you let your enemies know what you're going to do? I mean, the element of surprise and mystery is one of the key factors in victory. And if we're just going to go around blabbing about what we're going to do and what we're not going to do, it seems like that's the only benefit there is a political benefit.
Let's talk a little bit about the immigration issue. The president, as recently as when he was leaving from the NATO summit to come home, in his press conference, was asked about possibly politicizing this to the point where he would delay his executive order because of politics, before not do it until after the midterms. And of course, lo and behold, that's exactly what's going to happen. He denies there's any politics to it, but I mean, even Chuck Todd called it for what it is to his face yesterday in that interview that he did on NBC's Meet the Press. So, I mean, are you surprised that he is doing this, attacking it this way? He tells us on one hand, Doctor, this is so important for the country. It's the right thing to do. It's damaging the economy. I have to do it if Congress won't do it. And by the way, I'm not going to do it for another couple of months. I mean, what is that? What sense does that make?
Well, does anything that he says surprise anybody anymore? That's the problem. I mean, not a smidgen of evidence of wrongdoing with the IRS. Are you kidding me? I mean, and here's the real problem. We are damaging the relationship between the government and the people. We need trust in the kind of government that was put together in our nation. When everybody thinks that when the commander-in-chief is talking, he's just talking political talk, think about the damage that it is doing. It's going to take a while to restore trust in our government.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is consistent. You mentioned the IRS. I mean, scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal. Do you have any confidence? Don't forget, and Doctor, I mean, I don't forget, I'm sure you're well aware of it, but most people, I mean, this guy has the bulk of his second term left. And it's not as if he's almost done. Maybe it's wishful thinking on the part of many of us on our side of the aisle, but he's got the bulk of his time left. And after these midterms, I mean, he's got nothing to care about, and his pen is in his hand.
Well, after the midterms, hopefully, at least Harry Reid will not be in charge of the Senate, and they will have a reasonable chance of stalemating him until, the election in 2016. But, I think the Republicans are going to have to offer some very good programs that show people the way up and out of dependency. They're going to have to offer real programs in terms of how we get the economy going, stimulate it, and they're going to have to make it crystal clear to the most ardent and ignorant people what is actually going on. Because the only way that falsehood of this type can prevail is through ignorance.
Absolutely. Doctor, always great to talk to you. Be sure, folks, to get your copy of Dr. Carson's New York Times #1 best-selling book, One Nation, What We Can All Do to Save America's Future. Go to newsmax.com/Ben. That's newsmax.com/Ben to get your free copy. And thank you, Doctor, for indulging me on Ray Rice and the other issue. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Steve. Always great to
take care. Great to talk to you. All right, folks, we're coming back, and we're going to continue to talk about ISIS and Ray Rice and everything else in the news with the highly acclaimed, I almost said acclaimed. It could be acclaimed since everything is E these days, right? The highly acclaimed Malzberg panel. I just made up a word, I think. And it's coming your way next on Newsmax Television. You want to contact us and weigh in on the show? Here's how you do it right now.
Is your